Right, me and Squawka Dave here, we asked you some questions on Twitter, so we're going to fucking answer them. Simple as that.
Yeah, we've got some good questions. The first one, I think, is about Daley Blind.
Underrated as fuck, question mark.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I think, yes, he is. Yes, he massively is. He was brilliant at centre-back last season, towards the back end of the season. Had Aguero in his pocket, Lukaku in his pocket.
The Lukaku one was amazing.
That was incredible.
It was amazing.
That was the one where you look at it and you think, this is a massive mismatch. You know, a very physical striker. And Daley Blind was just, he played it perfectly. He gave him a yard and then came in at the right time. He's looked brilliant next to Eric Bailly, left foot, right foot. You know, I do like that as a centre-back pairing. You've got a ball player, you've got someone that's a little bit aggressive but then chilled. But that's the interesting thing with Bailly, when he needs to get in there, when you know, he doesn't sort of deal with people, but if they come into his zone, then he goes to deal with them. So I love how he holds his position, and again with Fellaini sat in front of those protecting them, it's looked really good.
Do you think Blind is marshalling the back line? Because I think there's an element of him marshalling the back line, but he's not that Rio or Vidic style barking at people. I think, is it? Do you think he's more of the quiet?
I think it's tucking in, pushing out. I think that I reckon he's talking a lot to Fellaini. Fellaini's positionally has been really, really good. I think that is probably down to Mourinho and Daley Blind saying, yeah, drop a little bit. This ball's, you know, I'm gonna give 5 yards.
He is the sort of cerebral, intelligent footballer that I always want to find a space for in a team. Exactly. And a lot of people have been saying as well, and we've never explored it, and no one's ever really spoken about it. But like everyone's talking about the partner potentially long term for Pogba in midfield. You want to see us go to a 3. I want to go to a 3. I'd love to see us go to a 3. And if we did go to a 3. The physicality that you're lacking in Daley Blind, I think you could actually accommodate in midfield as the holding midfielder, as the sweeper upper, to then allow it to go to Pogba. Because I think his passing range is good enough to play midfield.
I think I just like what I like with Marouane Fellaini is he's giving that physical stuff. He
is a barrier
in the front of the back four, and I feel like with Daley Blind, potentially not going to get that, and I feel like Mourinho will want that physical defensive midfielder. He's had that.
He's also very slow, so cutting across from one side of the pitch to the other.
This is the thing. I think Daley Blind has to be in the side.
That's why I think you can do it with 3. I think with a 3-man midfield, he's not going to cover the same amount of zones, and his zone will be quite a central zone that he could probably do quite easily with.
Well, I think we haven't seen Daley Blind play central midfield for a while. I do like what he does at the back because he plays it forward. That was the big criticism I had of him playing in mid-central midfield. It was all to left and right. He never played those penetrative passes. You look at his stats last season, I think only one player completed more forward passes than him in the Premier League. Constantly finding that forward pass for that United team that was quite sideways, that's quite a good stat to throw out there. So whether he can continue that when he moves into central midfield and he has the game's a bit closer to him, that's the only thing I worry, that if he does get pressured, will he have that same ability to play it forward?
We'll see. What's the next question?
Next question. I don't know, I've just put my phone away. Terrible play. On to number 2. We're going to go with, please ask at Squawka Dave to do a video regarding aerial power that we had.
We've sort of covered that.
Yeah,
we've sort of covered that. The height's massive.
The height stuff, yeah, big stuff, stats wise.
That was Derek Chong. Cheers, Derek.
Then
I don't even know what that means.
Is he a 1 inch, 12 wrinkle sort of guy? We don't know what that is. Maybe you can put in the comments below and then we can answer it there. And then probably one good for you, Howson. How many youngsters do you think will come through into the first team this season?
None.
Yeah. I think Rashford will be the one, but he's already in the team, right? He's already come through, I think.
Fosu-Mensah would have been the one, but he's already in the team again. Yeah. I think what Louis van Gaal did last year was he pushed the load through. The one that's closest, I would say, is Tuanzebe, who is looking fantastic. Apart from him, everybody who was about to make a debut made a debut. I think Joe Riley could be involved at some stage this season. I like his attitude, I like his work rate. Shades of what Rashford has done in terms of that. He does not give a fuck. There was at one point, I think it was QPR last season in the under-21s. There was a right back for QPR, and on the left wing was Rashford and left back was Riley, and every time this poor little fucker got the ball, he had these two herring at him. Honestly, they went for him like my dog goes for a ball. Like they was on him, and it got to the stage where after about the 60-minute mark, they was just passing it around the back four. The
QPRs, waiting for him to go.
And this kid wasn't even looking up to see where he was, and he was just oofing it into the touch.
Get it out.
And he just completely fucking ruined this kid. Is there any more?
Yeah, so we've got Man United players aside. Statistically, who would be the best player to play alongside Pogba? I think that you know look no further than the Juventus midfield of last season. You got Marquisio sitting behind Paul Pogba, and then a shuttler on the other side, whether it is Sami Khedira or Lamela or anyone, Hernandez. I think it's having that ball player behind him. So yeah, someone like Marquisio, someone like Pogba, Pirlo, someone like that, a ball playing player that could complement in a 3. I'd say in a 2. someone. You got to get someone physical. I'd say someone like Victor Wanyama.
Physical
would
in terms of energy, or physical in terms.
I think
of
you need
size?
someone just physical in terms of size that can just sit behind him and let him go. And I think that's
like Timothy Fosu-Mensah to me.
Or maybe Matic from last season, not last season, season before when he was really good, would be perfect for next to Paul Pogba. But I think it's someone like that can play a duality of roles of being physical, but also can kind of keep it simple, keep moving it along. Like Pogba, in a way, for me, is the playmaker. So you kind of need next to him, you need someone to recycle the ball, and you also need someone to win the ball. That's what Marouane Fellaini's done so well, and I think that's what you need next to Paul Pogba, or push him higher up and having a ball player behind him is perfect. So either or, really. But Marchisio, he's the main man because he's sick in the head.
Is that us?
I think we might have one more question. I'm not too sure. So yeah, that's a good question. Do we do Squawka Dave at me? Think we lack a player who can dictate the game from deep? No, I don't.
think that's Paul Pogba.
I think that is Paul Pogba. I think that we don't. I think we want to push the game further forward. I think football's getting into a stage where you want to go back to dictating in the final third. You know, look at Paul Scholes. Did pick the ball up deep, but he was always in those areas to control the game in the opposition's half, and that's how I would like my teams to play. So I think having a natural defensive and a proper defensive midfielder next to someone like Pogba, someone that can roam and someone that can play make, for me is perfect.
Scholes and Keane.
Exactly.
It's the blend that you had with Scholes and Keane. Keane would not try risky passes. Keane would pass it back to the defence. People forget that about Roy Keane. Roy Keane would pass it back to the defence all the time. He didn't give a fuck. He was not losing that ball. He's not going to be the guy that gets the finger pointed down for it. No. And Fellaini's actually started this season playing those easy balls. Sometimes overly easy, sometimes it goes right back to the keeper, and some of the crowd, fucking hell, but still got the ball.
Yeah.
Still got the ball.
I think you do have to have a player like Pogba that's going to play risky passes, but will get assists in a season for playing ridiculous balls. You need someone calm next to him that's got like 90+ pass accuracy, so you can just keep feeding it through. So you keep getting him the ball, because at the end of the day, you want your players on the ball like Paul Pogba, like Anthony Martial, like Mkhitaryan, that can do things. You don't want it to be too deep, right? You don't want it to have like, not a slight at Sergio Busquets, but a Sergio Busquets type player controlling a game, because sometimes it is too deep, and we saw that at United, that sometimes we struggled because we were just sitting it on our halfway line.
Sometimes Carrick's awesome at dictating a game, but too often he was taking it from one wing to the other wing, and he's doing it around about the halfway line, which when the whole opposition side is in front of you and parked on their 18-yard box, it's a pissing nightmare, innit? Right, so that'll do for the questions, I think. Make sure you go and subscribe to Dave. Dave Talks on the old YouTube machine. I will throw a link in the old description below. Look at that.
Wow.
That could be absolutely anywhere in the world, couldn't it? That's
Sydney.
Absolutely mint. Yeah, that could be Sydney, couldn't it? No, it's Salford. It's Salford. And that bit there, about 20 yards away, is Manchester. So from me and for Dave in sunny Salford, make sure you go and give him a subscribe. Get some comments in as well, and I might throw him over to Dave, and I might get him on the podcast again as well now the season's getting into the full swing of things. So hit the like, make sure you subscribe to me, subscribe to Dave. He's closing in on 10,000.
Get on it.
That's a guy you need to subscribe to, innit? Let's face it. So get subscribing to Dave, hit that subscribe button if you're new on here, and I'll see you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.